This is a Government Week in Review for the week ending Friday, December 15, 2023. I am Sherry-Ann Noel. In the headlines, Grenada completes appointments to foreign service and diplomatic missions. Details to this and more after the break.
Calling all songbirds and lyrical legends, the Independence Calypso Monarch is here. And this time, we're doing it bigger than ever as we celebrate Grenada's 50th. Over $50,000 in prize money to be won. Show your patriotism, devotion, and love for your country with your original piece under the theme One People, One Journey, One Future. Don't wait. Submit your song by January 4, 2024 to the Ministry of Culture or email it to sco@culture.gov.gd. This is more than a competition. It's your chance to be part of Grenada's once-in-a-lifetime Jubilee celebrations. Grenada awaits the next Independence Calypso Monarch, and it could be you.
I'm addicted to Kaiso.
Welcome back. Grenada is now well equipped to be represented globally with the completion of appointments to its foreign service and diplomatic missions. Foreign Affairs Minister Honorable Joseph Andel told the Lower House this week during his contribution to the 2024 estimates of revenue and expenditure that all ambassadors and consul general are in place, each with supporting staff. He explained that the appointments are part of government's trust to establish a professional foreign service. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has in recent months redoubled efforts to support government's initiatives in the diaspora through the strengthening of protocol and consular policy and research.
This puts us one step closer towards the realization of the goal of having a professional foreign service. So, Speaker, at last year's budget, we pledged to strengthen our diplomatic missions.
Minister Andel said his government is committed to invest heavily in training opportunities for all diplomats.
Several foreign service officers have undergone training in multilateral diplomacy in Belgium, Germany, and Guyana. And there is also continuous training for heads of mission and consuls general with leading experts from around the region. We believe, Mr. Speaker, that it takes more than political allegiance to make a good diplomat, and we are prepared to invest in training opportunities for all of our diplomats.
A ribbon-cutting ceremony signaling the commissioning of the Silver Sands Beach House, a small luxury boutique hotel comprising 30 rooms, was held this week, adding to the growing tourism landscape in Grenada. The property is the second to be constructed by Naguib Swawiri, an Egyptian billionaire businessman in the south of the island. The ceremony was attended by Her Excellency Dame Cécile Lagrenade, Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell, members of Cabinet and other specially invited guests. Honorable Deacon Mitchell is happy to have witnessed the remarkable transformation of the Beach House restaurant, a property that he is very familiar with.
I want to offer personal congratulations to Naguib and his team for doing a fantastic job and for doing so in record time. This project is in fact a CBI project, and I think if we need proof of the value of our CBI program to the economic landscape, both in terms of temporary construction jobs, in terms of permanent jobs in the hotel, hospitality, tourism business, there is no better example than this property. And so I want to offer congratulations to the team on making it this far, but I think you've just begun because we now clearly have to run a successful hotel. Clearly, lots of Grenadians will be employed here. Clearly, lots of citizens from around the world will get the opportunity to see a beautiful and spectacular part of Grenada, which otherwise may not happen but for this resort.
Prime Minister Mitchell says it is rewarding to see the outcome, having toured the facility during the construction phase.
They have done a fantastic job. I look forward to the rains falling so that the landscaping can really take root, and to coming back here perhaps in another 6 months to see how the property is fully grown. A lot of effort has been put into making this property a sustainable property. And I want to congratulate the architect who I met on Saturday for a fantastic job. It's often said that the best form of sophistication is simplicity. This is simple, it's elegant, it's pleasing on the eyes, but most importantly, it employs a lot of sustainable practices, particularly as it relates to water management. And as we are in the far south of the island, the need to conserve, the need to sustain, and the need to be resilient is absolutely critical. And so I want to emphasize the fact that without this beautiful environment, we will not have this hotel. And so it's important for us to be able to maintain, sustain, and improve our environment.
CEO and Chairman of the development, Naguib Swariri, says he is pleased to be investing in the development of a country where he is very comfortable with the environment and the hospitality of the people. The idea, he says, is to create a legacy that he came and did good by the Grenadian people.
I'm very proud also for my team. This architecture has been designed and developed within Aura developers. So thanks God we didn't have to hire the expensive architect of Silver Sands. So we saved some money there. If I mention money, I have to tell you what my son is telling me all the time. He says, Papi, all the hotels you're building are beautiful, but we're not making any money. so I tell him, his name is Onsi, like my dad. I tell him, Onsi, I never went to Grenada for the money, you know. I went to Grenada because I fell in love with the people of Grenada, and I fell in love with the nature of Grenada, you know. I know that nobody will believe a capitalist when he tells them that he's not in for the money. But if you want to believe it, there is one, you know, and I'm this one. Of course, we hope that we will make some money. But here is the promise. Whatever money we will make, we'll reinvest it here, because I just need to create for myself a legacy that people would say, okay, this guy came in here and so, and he started building these beautiful hotels, and he never stopped until he died. So that's my hope.
Mr. Naguib says there is a need to construct properties not just to add to the room stock, but properties that will attract people to the island.
If we can continue with the speed we have been here, it was only 2 years ago where me and His Excellency Prime Minister Mitchell, we put the stone here 2 years ago. And in the first hotel in Silver Sands, there was no CBI. I invested $180 million from my own money, no bank, no loans, no CBI, and built this hotel, because my point was that we need to attract people to Grenada, and they need to know that they can come to a beautiful hotel, and that all these beautiful hotels are not just in Barbados or St. Bart, but also on this beautiful island that deserves these hotels, because its people are one of a kind. I tell you, I mean, the highlight of my day is always my 7 o'clock walk on the beach when I see the local people here, and how and their daily gatherings in the water, in 5 and 6 groups, peaceful and friendly, you know. So I hope that God will bless me for doing all that, and will make me make some money too, to get my son off my shoulder. And I have to say that I've been also very helped, I mean, even with people say, well, it takes so long, the CBI and this bureaucracy. And with all what they're saying, we're here, we built this, we've had a lot of support from both governments. I'm proud that I think I'm a person that can be friends to both, because contrary to my own country, I'm not into politics here, but in my country, I hardly have friends in the government.
Guests of the Silver Sand Beach House small luxury hotel will have the options to choose from cliffside or beachside rooms. Work will soon recommence on the Kawana Bay site at Montrouge as government, through Governor General Her Excellency Dame Cecile Lagrenade, signed a leasehold agreement for the property over to Naguib Swariri Development Company to complete the development of the 5-star resort. The leasehold agreement was signed during the ribbon-cutting ceremony of the Silver Sands Beach House. The signing was, however, twofold, as both parties have agreed that the Riviera site that sits adjacent to the Camahon Park that was in Mr. Naguib's possession for future development be surrendered to the government to afford the government the opportunity to expand and enhance the public space on Grandlands Beach.
In true partnership, while we're having the lease of the Kawana Bay site signed tonight, we're also having the surrender of the Riviera beach site on Grandlands Beach, which we've declared will become a national park to join the Camahon Park, so that we have the necessary green space on Grandlands Beach, so that the young, the old, and the in-between can enjoy more green spaces on Grandlands Beach. So I want to first of all thank Her Excellency, for accommodating us tonight. I'm sure this is kind of not the usual manner in which she signs a document, but a little change. Past her bedtime, she said, so I'm very, very grateful for her accommodating us tonight. I want to thank Naguib for permitting us to have the Governor General sign the lease here tonight. So I will invite Her Excellency Dame Cecile Lagrenade to sign the lease, and then after that, the surrender has been signed for the Rivera side first. Who's signing? The Governor General.
Once work has been completed, the Rivera site will be declared National Heroes Park in celebration of our heroes past and present. Officials at the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs are acting quickly toward the removal of a scrap metal business in St. George that has raised some major health and environmental concerns. Let's get more details in this report.
The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs and the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority are expected to meet early next week to develop and subsequently enforce strict regulations that will guide the setting up and operations of scrap metal businesses on the island. This comes following the discovery of what has grown to be another large illegal dumping site, this time in River Road, St. George, which has raised environmental and health concerns for businesses and residents in the area. Senior Environmental Health Officer in the Ministry of Health, Danraj Ramkelawan, says the issue is one that needs addressing with haste.
The issue that we're seeing there is the accumulation of scrap metal from other parts of Grenada to be processed and packaged and shipped out of Grenada. In terms of the operation, what is happening there, the operation is uncontrolled. We have to investigate and see if the persons had permission to use the area. I understand it's a plain field, and as we saw there this morning, it's alarming because there's no space for it. And in addition, scrap metal, it poses a lot of environmental challenges. For example, you have heavy metal seepage into ground. It could end up in the river, end up in our marine resources, and then eventually end up in marine life, in which it gets back directly into our food chain and directly affect human health. So there's things like aluminum, there are batteries, what is considered hazardous waste, and other waste that can deteriorate with when it mixes with rainwater and even with the ground.
The matter of illegal dumping sites is an island-wide concern, he says, and has raised the need for the enforcement of the Waste Management Act come 2024.
We have the Waste Management Act that speaks about such operations, and we intend to enforce the Waste Management Act in 2024, which we would have to make this a priority for our department in 2024, because there are numerous complaints that are coming into our department, regarding, scrap metal operations, because it is not managed properly to avoid, environmental degradation.
Mr. Ramkelawan says they have red flagged a cycle that has been created where the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority has authorized the removal of scrap metal from the Perseverance landfill, only for unintended dump sites to emerge elsewhere.
The Grenada Solid Waste Authority also, at the dump, the guys in them mentioned that there are people that do sorting at the dump. They sort recyclable waste, and these are people who have been trained. They call them the RRT, Recycle Resource Technicians. But what we have realized is that the solid waste do not have authority to who they sell to. But what we are realizing is that this is coming back to haunt us within the communities. So this is one aspect we would have to address with solid waste also, because they are moving it from a dump site and it gets back into the community and create a lot of issues for us. This is new to solid waste. They only have realized this morning, so we have raised that and we're going to red flag that to be addressed.
The owner of the site at River Road has been contacted, and he has indicated that he is in the process of packaging and shipping scrap metal. Mr. Ramkelawan says he will be given some time to complete this process, and then he will be served with a sanitary abatement notice to cease operations in that area and return it to its normal state. Reporting for the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, I am Blossom Alexis Welsh.
Thank you, Blossom Alexis Welch. This is the Government Week in Review. When we return, accessing financial assistance could soon become easier for seed beneficiaries.
At the NIS, our team proudly works to support the evolving needs of Grenadians. We have made some changes to our operations and want to keep you informed. Firstly, we are happy to introduce the new unemployment benefit. This benefit will provide an insured person with 50% of his or her former income in the case of sudden unemployment. To support this benefit and other benefits we offer, it was necessary to increase the contribution rate. The contribution rate will increase gradually each year until it reaches 16% in 2031. As always, the contribution will be split between you and your employer. The pensionable age will also increase from 60 to 65 years. This increase will also be gradually reaching age 65 in 2029. Pensioners will continue to be eligible for a pension from age 60, but will receive a reduced payment. The NIS recognizes that the prices of basic customer goods are increasing globally. Therefore, we are happy to also increase the weekly minimum pension payment by 25%. Finally, we have adjusted our survivors' benefit payment to a percentage of the age pension minimum. Widows, widowers, and dependent parents will receive 100% or $58 weekly, while children will receive 50% or $29 weekly of the deceased's pension. We are here to make the transition to these new changes as clear and simple as possible. If you have any questions on how these changes impact you and your family, please contact our new informational hotline at 440-6647 or visit www.nisgrenada.org. Thank you for allowing us to be your social security provider.
Welcome back. Seed beneficiaries will soon avoid lengthy queues to access their financial assistance as government partners with the Grenada Cooperative Bank to implement a benefit card from January 2024. The introduction of the card is a major milestone for the program as it increases security of the individual with cash transfers directly to their accounts and enables purchases and ATM withdrawals. Social Development Minister, Senator the Honorable Gloria Thomas, told members of the Upper House on Wednesday that the agreement between the bank and government was signed earlier this week.
Negotiations were conducted with the Grenada Cooperative Bank, and I'm happy to report that an agreement was signed in this regard. The implementation process will commence in January 2024. Madam President, beneficiaries will receive a seed benefit card which will enable them to receive benefit through the banking system. We saw the need to improve the current payment mechanism, which led to long lines in inhumane condition with limited alternative options. The card will include all the features of a transactional card, such as ATM withdrawal and point-of-sale purchases. The card will increase the security of the elderly walking around with the cash.
Moving along, the Ministry of Education is looking forward to a productive 2024 with many recently introduced new initiatives in the pipeline to improve access to quality education. Moving forward with a budget of approximately $170.5 million for the Education Department. Education Minister Senator the Honorable David Andrew made his presentation during the Senate budget debate on Wednesday, noting that the budget for education was created with several critical targets in mind.
We find ourselves grappling with complex challenges that impede the full realization of our educational aspirations. Although we acknowledge the groundwork laid by our predecessors, we cannot deny, we must candidly admit that several barriers to education persist. Programs like SEED, Uniform Assistance, and AID underscore the profound socioeconomic challenges faced by numerous families in our nation. What would be the good of interventions if the single mother cannot afford the fees? Can learning even occur if the roof of persons remain leaking? Madam President, show me a child who will learn and learn well if he is hungry every day. The answer to these questions is why this administration's commitment to education extends beyond rhetoric and old talk. These barriers necessitate a comprehensive approach to addressing barriers through enhanced education financing, infrastructure development, vocational education and training, curricular reform, and technological integration.
One of the key initiatives include universal secondary education and education financing.
Access to education for all. We stepped beyond the barriers, the psychological hindrances that persons felt because they didn't make it, they couldn't get the scores, and so they had to be retained, detained, kept back. They were not bright, they were dunce, and all the kind of pejorative names that they were called. We took the decision to ensure that in keeping with SDG 4 and the development goals, that we give all students getting to 12 plus access to secondary education. On the matter of education financing, we clearly had an outlined policy position to give free universal education up to community college in our 2022 manifesto. This administration, yes. And we are on that journey, Madam President. We understand it is a journey, and there are several steps that we will take. We have taken some, and several steps we will continue to take in that journey to making education totally free. We're not there yet, we are heading there. This administration took the bold step to remove the fees, the games fee, the lab fee, the security fee, that traditionally were paid at the primary and secondary school levels, and introduced an accompanying subvention to make sure that no school was worse off because of it. In addition, Madam President, for the first time in the history of schools in Grenada, the ministry, under this administration's directive, introduced a subvention for unattached preschools. And by this I mean a preschool that is separate by itself, not attached to another main primary school. So unattached preschools now receive a subvention, a first again. Just over $1.5 million, Madam President, was spent.
Senator Andrews also zoned in on the free tuition policy and shared feedback from students.
Madam President, the free tuition policy, and it is the free tuition policy. And I listened to lots of voices surrounding the free tuition, and all of a sudden people are saying, well, you're not giving them transport. You need to give them more. Well, do that too. And you're hearing several other cries for additions. And I'm saying to some of those folks on the other side, and even in the other place, who had the opportunity for several uninterrupted years to do that and to do it to the extent that they wanted, that was the time to do it. They did not. We have chosen to do it in this time. Here's a voice. Here's a student from St. Andrew, a first-year student at TAMCC. I wouldn't say the major, but I quote, "The government did a good job with the free tuition program. Because of this, it helps my parents to send their children to school. Due to a lack of finance in my household, it was a big debate on whether to send me to college. However, when my parents heard about the free tuition program, they were able to send me to college this year, 2023. Here's another student. This one from St. George North West. The tuition fee helps my parents have sufficient funds to send me to school and for me to have supplies for skills." That's a student attending New Law. Here's another student. This one from carriacou. So Senator Cox will be happy to hear that. This student said, "The free tuition has helped me and my parents a lot. Due to the fact that I have come from Carriacou, it helps me save a lot of money, and it also takes stress off my mother's shoulders. I am confident, Madam President, we have made the right move and we are heading in the right direction, and there is more to come.
Since the introduction of the free tuition policy at the start of the Michaelmas term, 2,277 students attending Tamsisi and Nulo benefited at a cost of more than $1.7 million. Senator Andrews also noted a continuing record increase in enrollment numbers at Nulo. Two new initiatives for 2024 include the CSEC reimbursement program, for which a total of $1.2 million has been allocated, the student loan scheme, and the complete removal of the fee for meals from the school feeding program.
The ministry is embarking on a phased approach to make the intervention as part of its universal secondary education and free education policy to reimburse students who complete some sections, particular combinations of subjects. The details of those will be put forward, but the plan is to reimburse students in 2024 for doing certain combinations of subjects that we believe will increase the employability of students, that will make them more marketable. So we want each student to have a skill subject. We want to promote modern language. We want to promote ICT and coding. We want to promote the technologies. We want to promote agricultural science. We want to promote local history, several of these things. And so we'll package them to ensure that reimbursement can come to the families of students who perform. I want to talk about the student loan scheme. We are aware that at this point in our journey, we probably don't have the means just yet to give all free access to university education. While we keep promoting it, while we keep talking a lot about it, while we keep working hard on it, we are aware, though, that we have to reduce the degree, how onerous it is for students to access loans who might want to study. And so our ministry has already engaged many of the financial institutions, Madam President, to discuss the requirements for accessing student loans. Further, a cabinet subcommittee has been appointed to look into how we go about engaging and coming up with a policy for the student loans, accessing easier student loans. This framework will be developed for implementation in 2024.
More than $10.1 million was spent on school refurbishments in 2023, with a new framework for managing school infrastructure being introduced in 2024, with a total of $1.2 million allocated for school maintenance. More than $14.1 million is allocated through the GIS program in 2024, from which the St. David's Catholic Secondary School will be constructed. Additionally, construction will commence on the Grenada Christian Academy and St. Andrew's Anglican Primary Schools in 2024. The St. Joseph's Convent Grenville and J.W. Fletcher Catholic School are also expecting expansion work. A sum of $6.5 million has been allotted for construction of the Florida Government School, the St. Giles Anglican School, upgrades to the Calais Government School, and for the construction of the La Poterie Preschool. Grenadians are being afforded the opportunity to make improvements to their homes, properties, and small businesses to become more climate resilient. This has been made possible through the Enhanced Direct Access Climate Adaptation Revolving Fund at the Grenada Development Bank, GDB, financed by the Green Climate Fund through the Government of Grenada. This fund is specifically targeted toward vulnerable populations, including low-income households, people with special needs, and single-parent households. GDB's Communications Officer, Ria Murray, says up to 200,000 EC dollars can be obtained at an interest rate of 2% annually.
The fund covers many aspects, from soil erosion control. Persons experiencing those problems can get funding to build retaining walls or reroute their drains so that water does not undermine their foundation. They can implement water efficiency measures or solutions. They can also use funding to improve their housing structure, strengthen their roofs to withstand hurricane force winds, and there are so many more interventions that they can use this funding for. And once you qualify, once you meet the criteria, you can get actually up to 200,000 EC dollars at an interest rate of 2% annually.
Since the fund was launched in 2022, 54 projects have been approved, ranging from the building of retaining walls, home structural improvements, implementing renewable energy solutions, and storage solutions.
Throughout the lifetime of the program, we've had 54 projects being approved, and that amounts to over $2.4 million. So of the approved applications, we've had 41% for flood and erosion control. Then we've had 29% for structural improvements, including roof strengthening to withstand hurricane force winds. And we've also had 12% of projects requesting water storage solutions. So as we see, it's very wide, but we've had success stories from as far as Calliston, St. George up to St. Andrews. So it's all over the island, and we're also ensuring that the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique know that they can qualify for this funding as well.
West Indies take a 2-0 lead in the 5-match T20 series against England with a 10-run win at the National Cricket Stadium on Thursday, much to the delight of spectators. Team West Indies took to the crease first and posted 176 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in the allotted 20 overs. Captain Rovman Powell and Brandon King were the 2 hard hitters for the Windies. Powell had 5 sixes of 28 balls, while King batted through the innings on 82 not out. The Windies restricted the Englishmen to 166 for 7. On conclusion of the match, Captain Rovman Powell spoke to his team's performance and also commended the ground staff for an excellent job on preparing the wicket.
At the start of the innings, Brandon and Kyle looked pretty good, and then we slumped by losing four quick wickets, and I think myself and Brandon did put on a good partnership to give us a foundation of 170, but I think all in all it was a pleasing batting display. I think it was a good wicket, to be honest. It was a little bit challenging in the early out, but they said that a lot of rain is falling, so credit have to be given to the ground staff for still preparing a wicket that is of international standard.
Cricket fans are hopeful that Team Windies can close the series in Grenada on Saturday in match 3 of the 5-match T20 series. Captain Powell says that can be achievable with the numbers at the stadium giving them the necessary support needed.
We know how important wickets are in T20 cricket, and once as a bowling group we keep picking up wicket consistently, the batting team will always under pressure.
So you're 2 up. It's a 5-test series, a 5-match series. What are you looking forward to come Saturday?
Saturday we're trying our best to close out the series, but we're gonna need the help of the Grenadians. Saturday is a weekend. So we expect more Grenadians to come and support us, and I think the support today was fantastic from the locals.
Darren Sammy Obi, head coach of the West Indies team in limited overs cricket, commended the overall performance of the guys. Sammy believes that once they remain focused along with support, they will continue to improve on their game.
Brilliant. At the start of the game we knew 175 was the winning first inning score here, and the stats don't lie. For us to get to that target, with the little stutter we had in the middle, it shows that what quality we have in our team. We've not put on a full display of batting and bowling yet, but we are doing enough to win games. And that's the beauty about this team. This well captained by Rovman Powell, and he came in and absorbed some pressure whilst we were under, and he and King, just went about putting a good total on the board for us. Brandon King at the top was just amazing, batting through the inning. And like I said, the skipper, the impact he had was just good to watch.
The 30-20 bowls off at 1:30 p.m. on Saturday, December 16th at the National Cricket Stadium, Queen's Park, St. George. We take another break. When we return, consultations held to improve services offered by JPs.
Your new GREN bill is even easier to read and still has all the valuable information you need to track and manage your usage.
Hey Mom, okay, your friendly tech support is here. So you got the new GREN bill? Let's take a look. The new bill makes it even easier to see your bill total, the due date, and much more. And take a closer look. It actually is a lot easier to understand. Let me show you. You can still see exactly what the charges are for, but in a great new format, it even shows how the cost of generating and delivering the electricity to you is calculated using your actual usage. Anyway, look who says hi, and see you soon.
Your new GrandLike bill, easier to understand and easier to track your usage.
Welcome back. Government held a series of consultations and training for justices of the peace this week to support and improve on the delivery of quality professional service to the public. The sessions, which began in St. George's on Monday, are a collaborative effort by the Governor General's Office, Cabinet Office, and the Ministries of Legal Affairs and National Security. A Justice of the Peace is a volunteer who undertakes special responsibilities, such as signing documents and require a qualified witness and hearing certain types of court matters. The aim, according to Planning Committee member David Hopkin, is to standardize the operations of all JPs on island through the revision of handbooks, laws, and guidelines, and the digitization of all processes. He hopes that by the first quarter of 2024, some improvements can be made within the system.
The fourth aspect of this session, maybe not today, but leading on to at least by the end of January, is to digitalize a lot of the processes that we're going through. So first of all, let's start from application and renewal of commissions. All that we hope to put it online. So you can go online and apply to be a JP, or you can nominate somebody to be a JP, and you submit all of that online. When your commission would have finished, you can go onto the site and reapply or ask to renew your commission, right? So we're actually building that site as we speak. On that site also, there'll be 3 windows or 3 pages. One has to do with information to the public as to the services a Justice of the Peace can offer to them. So they can see that based on the law and so forth, and they can get that. Secondly, you would have the chance to, you yourself will have your own page on that site. So eventually what you can do is that search for Justice of the Peace, say in St. George's, St. Mark, or St. John, and the list will come up. And you'll click on the person's name, and you'll get all the information on that person to contact them for their services.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Carlin McQuilkin, emphasized the significance of being efficient and transparent as Justices of the Peace.
We want it to be standardized and harmonized so that we have consistency, you know. So that is why, that's the main thing for this, the main purpose of this workshop that has been organized. Now, we all know that training and development plays a critical role in improvements, you know, for efficiency and so at like institutions, ministries, companies, whatever group or so. Once you have training and development, it aids in improving, you know, the processes of organizations. So as research would have indicated, there's a positive correlation between training and development, and effectiveness of organizations or improvements to organizations. Hence the reason why we would have organized this training.
Some of the JPs highlighted their concerns and made recommendations on the way forward.
Some JPs are not too clear on the service that they can offer as against what a notary public can offer. So there are certain documents to be notarized, and we find ourselves having those documents before us. So we would like, I'm going to the recommendation one time, that the services of a JP be clearly stated, particularly as it relates to notary services. First one. Second one is, second challenge, the issue of charging for services. And I captioned it to charge or not to charge. And we're hearing this morning that it seems to be an option. And we are recommended that there should be standardized charges
there should be a system whereby you present, as you said, that ID to the stamp shop to get the stamp, or you organize the stamp. Thirdly, we look at appointment without training as a challenge. And of course, this training today is part of addressing that and mitigating against that.
The police usually take the accused to the JP to sign bail. Now the police asking the JP to come into the police station, and sometimes where you live, the distance, all right? Maybe the police are comfortable dealing with certain people to sign bail, warrant, and so forth. So is that the police should come to the JP, or the JP should go to the police based on where you live? And then when you go to the police station to sign bail, there are challenges sometimes with the service by the officer at the desk.
Some justice of the peace don't feel empowered to quell situations because of lack of support from the judiciary and things like that. Another challenge is that not all the justice of peace are utilized in community, and some are overworked. All right. We had things like lack of resources as well.
Sessions were also held in St. Andrew and Carriacou. 15 successful applicants of the Community Tourism Grant Funding Project have been awarded by the Ministry of Economic Development, Planning, Tourism, ICT, and Creative Economy. The initiative, launched earlier this year, aims to empower individuals and communities with the resources to develop and showcase their unique tourism offerings. The budget allocation for the Community Tourism Program is $1 million. These successful applicants will be given maximum grant funding of $75,000 based on their deliverables and initiatives. The projects must be themed around the areas of ecotourism, agrotourism, festivals, cultural experiences, and cultural heritage. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Marina Jessime, hopes for a high implementation rate from the awardees.
It gives us background information to the name of the grantee, the total grant amount, the expenditure to date, and the date of the report submission. Why do we do that? Because we must be able to report to Minister without any excuse for you the implementation rate. And I want to promise the Minister we want 100% implementation rate. So some projects have a duration of 6 months, some projects have a duration of a year. We will still say in the grant agreement that your duration is 1 year. You know why? Things could happen. So 6 months, you need an additional time. It could be 9 months, etc. So you still have a period that you could play with to make sure you achieve the milestones.
The ministry will hold a series of meetings commencing on January 16, 2024. Tourism Minister Honorable Lennox Andrews, in his address, congratulated the awardees. He also emphasized the importance of such initiatives in fostering economic growth, preserving cultural diversity, and promoting tourism.
And the philosophy is that for our country to develop, we have to empower our people. In other words, the development must lie with the people. Our people must be seen, one, as the object of development, which means that they must be the beneficiaries of development. All development must fall on them. But secondly, and perhaps more importantly, our people must be seen as the subject of development. And that means that they must be actively and conscientiously involved in the development process.
Minister Andrew also said that the government will find avenues for the people to develop our tourism product.
Our role as government is to empower our people. If the country's development lies with the people, in other words, we put development in the people's hands, the government's role is not to compete with the people to produce, but government's role is to make it easy for our people to work and to produce. So I always say that government role is a facilitator. facilitator, and of course a regulator, because we have to make sure that what you do is not just good for us today, it's good for the generations to come. Yeah?
If the return of the Camahorn Folk Festival held in St. Patrick during the weekend December 8th to 10th is anything to go by, Grenada could be in for bigger things in the future. Karine Maureen Alexander reports on a weekend of fun and culture that was held at the Sates bus terminus.
The government of Grenada invested approximately $250,000 into the festival, demonstrating its confidence in the role that folklore plays in our culture. The revitalized Camahorn Folk Festival was spearheaded by the Division of Culture with assistance from a local planning committee. Acting Chief Cultural Officer Adrian Mack is happy with the outcome of the festival, which he said surpassed his expectations given the high level of performances and the large patron turnout. The 3-day festival showcased the authentic culture of Grenada, locally produced goods, and performances by 2 legendary calypsonians from Trinidad and Tobago, Pink Panther and Lord Nelson, and the carriacou United Caribbean Dance Force from Jamaica. Ministers of government and other high-level government officials were also present to witness the return of the festival and indulge in the creative talents and cultural traditions of Grenada. Minister of State with responsibility for culture, Honorable Ron Redhead, said this is the return of an economic earner and a cultural extravaganza for the people of St. Patrick.
Government is keen on ensuring that we build out the concepts of community tourism and keeping our culture alive. It is important that we continue to do so because as we look to the top level for benefits to our people, we must also ensure that at the lowest level in the community, the people have an avenue, the people will have a place, and the people will have the opportunity to continue to earn and showcase our cultural talents. So we are keen on ensuring that the Camahorn Folk Festival in its return is not just return, but continues to grow. And for 2024, it's a big year, 50 years, we need to demonstrate that. So tonight, I just want to congratulate each and every one of you who's been participating, those of you who came out to show your support and your love for the culture.
MP for St. Patrick West, Minister for Trade and Export Development, Honorable Joseph Andal, is pleased with the rebirth of the festival. He said it is wise to keep cultures and traditions alive in practical ways.
I'm very pleased to be here tonight to see the rebirth of the Camahorn Folk Festival. It is always good when you can keep your culture and your traditions alive. And you can demonstrate that in practical ways so that not only those who are grown and seasoned, but also the young ones coming up can have something to hold on to.
Chairman of the Camahorn Folk Festival Organizing Committee, Robert White, commended the government for making a significant financial contribution to the festival.
As you may have known, the theme for this year's festival, as always, Old Grenada, New Grenada, One Grenada. This is a particularly significant theme since it underscores the importance of what has gone, Old Grenada, what is new and current, and intertwined, it becomes One Grenada because life is a continuum. Whatever has happened before influences and supports what is taking place now. And the combination is what we celebrate. Our old customs, our new activities, our new ideas intertwined.
Here are some of the highlights of the return of the Camahorn Folk Festival in St. Patrick.
When I look right, I look left and turn around. But when I look up, I almost come with us to the ground when I hear it. Lady, see. I want you to put right foot in, and then let go your, and then just shake it.
Watch me made up of one day. We're going to push on right here.
She went out for Bobby out of me. Look what mommy like you to me. Now my whole life is in misery. I didn't mind she take me to court. That would have been a better result. She rather snow a lose and watchman and take me straight to the opium. Well, I'm about they laughing. They laughing. They laughing if they get to know me. I come just like Lord Kitchener when it come to travel partner. Everybody know that Kitchi only like to travel by sea. And when he arrive in Miami, he taking train to New York City. So your boy in real jeopardy. I can't find a good ship to carry me. You see? And the spin, but remember to sing, and they rock with the disco baby. That is in the heights and the building groove. So the DJ just play the boom. That the music play this. So I can break away with it.
Thank you, Karine. We take our final break.
Calling all songbirds and lyrical legends, the Independence Calypso Monarch is here. And this time, we're doing it bigger than ever as we celebrate Grenada's 50th. Over $50,000 in prize money to be won. Show your patriotism, devotion, and love for your country with your original piece under the theme One People, One Journey, One Future. Don't wait. Submit your song by January 4, 2024 to the Ministry of Culture or email it to sco@culture.gov.gd. This is more than a competition. It's your chance to be part of Grenada's once-in-a-lifetime Jubilee celebrations. Grenada awaits the next Independence Calypso Monarch, and it could be you.
I'm addicted to Kaiso.
Welcome back. With Climate Smart Agriculture and Rural Enterprise Program SIAP due to expire in March 2024, the Rural Development Unit has secured grant funding to extend support to farmers beyond the first quarter of the year. The Rural Development Unit plans to initiate the Adaptation Fund in 2025, backed by a generous contribution of US $10 million from the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD. This 5-year project aims to provide aid in the form of input supplies, training programs, and capacity building. Climate Smart Agriculture Coordinator Kenley Edwards speaks on the various components of this upcoming project.
This program really is to assist farmers in coping with these challenges. So a part of the component will be innovation in agriculture, and it will be looked at things like irrigation, the use of shade houses, the promotion of mulching, utilizing these different innovations to assist farmers to help them address the challenges that they're confronting. Another component, we looked at the introduction of an early warning system, which is an idea is to develop a platform that will, if I may say, disseminate information to farmers accurately and timely. And then another component is to look at the rehabilitation and the distribution of our ponds and water systems so that farmers could get it. So the whole idea of the adaptation fund is on the adaptation, building the resilience of our farmers and fishers as it pertains to climate change.
A number of consultations took place across various parishes, including Carriacou and Petit Martinique, engaging farmers to understand the challenges they face and providing insights into the different aspects of the project.
It will help a continuation of the SIRE program where SIRE would have ended. This program will be able to, if I may say, to upscale and to continue to bring the benefit of farmers to adapt and to implement the new changes. It will help with employment, it will help with increasing our food and nutrition security, it will help in the development of the agricultural sector. It is positive for even bringing more positive development to the rural communities.
And finally, Spice Mass Corporation together with the Steel Band Association have joined forces to organize a pan tuning workshop. The initiative aimed at enhancing the abilities of pan players has garnered support from the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. The workshop is held at the Pan House in St. Paul's Community Center and attracted participants from steel bands across the country. SMC Chairman Kurt Ross said the workshop will harness a greater appreciation of the art.
This workshop, made possible through the financial backing of UNESCO, stands as a testament of our endurance, cultural preservation, and advancement. It is a testament to the dedication and passion of those involved in the steel band community. I am honored to acknowledge the pivotal role played by the previous chairman, Ali Gill, and CEO, Kelvin Jacob, whose vision and leadership were instrumental in the preparation and submission of the original project document proposal to UNESCO.
Keisha Jeleno, Secretary General of the Grenada National Commission for UNESCO, says that the organization is happy to support the initiative.
This project is supported by UNESCO through its participation program, and UNESCO supports underscores the global significance of this endeavor. It highlights the importance of safeguarding our intangible cultural heritage, recognizing the steel pan as a symbol of unity, joy, and artistic excellence that should be shared with all of humanity.
The workshop is facilitated by Grenada-born Mr. Dudley Dixon, who is well known for his expertise in pan tuning. GIS spoke with participant Alan Alexis.
So the steel pan, which was the instrument invented in the 21st century, it's a beautiful instrument which is unique to the Caribbean. However, it takes a unique way also of getting that instrument prepared for playing, which is called tuning of the pan. What we're doing here today is learning how to lift notes, how to temper the instrument, which is by adding fire to the instrument to loosen the instrument and get it ready for more movement. And we use hammers and different techniques to get the instrument prepared for tuning. Tuning is the final stage where you will use an instrument called a strobe, or you can use a reference instrument like another pan to give you a pitch or a sound that.
Alexis explained that the process can be very tedious, requiring great focus.
Hammering is a pivotal role because you have to smoothen the pan, you have to take out lumps, you have to shape the notes, but it is not the only, I would say, pivotal aspect, because as an individual, as yourself, you as the individual, you have to have good sight, you have to have good hearing, you have to be able to follow and understand the instructions that you're getting, and you have to look for changes because the pan could be stubborn sometimes. We've been here a while now trying to get a note. I mean, as young persons learning, and it's challenging.
And with that story, we come to the end of the government's week in review for the week ending Friday, December 15th. I am Sherry Ann Noel, thanking you for viewing.